Welcome, I'm here to talk about the 5 vital facts, critical facts about reaching speed in alternate picking. These last months I've been experimenting actually with some things, even though I've been playing alternate picking for something like around 25 years. But I've practiced, I've experimented a little bit with how you reach speed and what happens with the picking, with different practicing schedules and stuff like that. And I really learned something very interesting, which is, well, extremely critical actually. The first point in the 5 keys or critical element in reaching speed in alternate picking is practice at a pace where you have 100% control and you have and you know absolutely what is going on in your right and left hand. And the reason that I'm saying this is I see a lot of people who've been playing guitar for many years. The way that they practice, they come to me, for example, and they say, I can't understand, I've been practicing this for so long and I don't feel that anything happens. And when they play fast, you know, it's just really, the sound is not good, there's no control, and the synchronization between right and left hand is really not good at all. It just doesn't sound good. And I've noticed that a lot of people, they start at a quite fast pace. So first of all, their practicing schedule doesn't become very long. They don't practice the alternate picking for very long, so they don't become warm or anything. They don't really get deep down into the technique because they start at a pace which is actually too fast. They start at a pace where they don't really have control. Let me give you an example. For example, if your maximum speed is 16th notes at 100, you should never start at something like 90 or something like that. That's way too fast. So even though you're not really stretching yourself at the pace, you still don't have 100% control. So just as an example, for example, if your max speed is something around 100, then you should start way lower, something like 40 beats per minute or something like that. And then, so you really have 100% control and you know exactly what is going on in your right and left hand, and then increase the speed gradually. The second key to reaching speed in alternate picking is really something that I've been experimenting with a lot these last few months. Is you should at all costs avoid keeping stretching yourself when you do an alternate picking lesson. What this means is if you're doing an alternate picking lesson and you'd reach a speed where you start to play pop outs. What this means is where you play a note with the pick but you don't get any sound. What this is an example of, or this is a result of where the synchronization doesn't work anymore. So you're the point where you're pressing the note, the string into where the string reaches the fret, and at the same time as the pick is hitting the string, it does not is not the same. so you will get a clonk or whatever, just a noise instead of a note. Just the overall quality of the lesson that you're practicing becomes lower. It doesn't sound good anymore. You should stop at that point. You shouldn't keep stretching yourself. I was experimenting with just keeping stretching myself, and something really important happens here, because if you keep stretching yourself, you will actually develop some bad habits that will influence your whole alternate picking game. If you want to reach a very high speed and you keep stretching yourself and working with the same lesson, you will actually develop some very bad habits. I did that myself for a period. Fortunately, it's very easy to get back into your good alternate picking game by really taking the speed down again without really going up and reaching any kind of speed again, if you understand what I mean. Of course you should still practice speed, but really take it down for a period of time where you only work on control, only working really on the technique, where you are sort of 100%, you are in the lesson, you just feel every movement between both in right and left hand. The third key of reaching speed is, it sounds a little weird, but it's actually important, is that you should play fast. What this means is just that it's not enough to only practice slow. You should still at least maybe take one of your alternate picking drills, if you just have one. Of course you should take it up the speed, so if you start at 40, then continue taking it up to 100, and then when 100 feels good, or feels you feel that you have control, or the quality of the notes is bettering all the time, then you should take it to 102 or 104, just gradually taking the speed up. This is of course, I'm sure you know this if you've been working on alternate picking speed before, but you should still, if you don't do it like that, if you just practice slow, then when you improvise and stuff like that and play scales, then you should still play fast, because you can still have a good technique but not be able to play fast. So you still have to use the speed, as long as you don't keep stretching yourself in the same drill or in several drills. You still, because that is really what is so critical, is that when you keep stretching yourself, just keep working on that, the fast aspect of playing, is that you will develop these bad habits. It really influences the rest of your alternate picking game, that really messes everything up. The fourth key is extremely important as well, that really influences also your playing in general, is that you keep a versatile practicing schedule. What this means is that you don't only work on one technique. Something really interesting happens is that if you, for example, have three different techniques that you're working on, you're working on alternate picking, sweep picking, and legato. Let's say that it's just an example, is that your sweep picking drill will actually influence your alternate picking. It sounds really weird, but you will actually feel, for example, when you have if you, for example, have been working on your sweep picking drill, then you can actually feel that on your alternate picking. It's a magical thing. It's really, I can't explain exactly why, but I know that I'm not the only one who has this experience. The final key, the fifth key of reaching speed in your alternate picking, is to find a good balance in updating your practicing schedule. What I mean by this is that you need to find, I can't tell you exactly what this, you only know this by yourself. You need to find the perfect balance whenever you take in and into your practicing schedule, take some new material in. What this means is, if you stay with the same drills for months and months and even years, you will, at some point you will start stagnating. For some reason, updating your practicing schedule every once in a while, one thing is, of course, I'm sure it inspires you just in general to practice, but for some reason it helps your speed when you update it. But this does not mean that you have to take new lessons into your practicing schedule all the time, because this is not beneficial. So what this means is that you need to reach some kind of progress before you update it. So just as an example, for example, if your goal was to reach 150 in a scale or something like that, then once you hit that goal, then you take and get a new goal, or find a new scale pattern, or a new arpeggio, or whatever it may be. But you need to change your practicing schedule at some point. This will lift your whole, will create some momentum in your whole alternate picking game. But you need to find that perfect balance. So you should not take in new material every day or once a week or something like that, because then you won't really have created the needed momentum in any of the lessons. So these are the 5 keys that really helps my alternate picking game. If you're watching this video on YouTube, press the link onto the video, because this will take you to the blog, and the blog is really where the action is happening, because on the blogs there's a lot of extra material. It's not only the videos, a lot of texts that will really help your playing as well, and a lot of info and material. Plus there's, well, hundreds of free lessons on the blog.